This is what I call the Gather Together mini pizza box. And I want to show you where you can find the products in your holiday catalog, okay? So here's the product up close. You're going to learn this baby wipe stamping technique. And then we're going to do a little bit of embossing. And then we're going to put the mini pizza box together, all right? And we'll assemble that, okay? All right, so in the holiday book, the stamp set that I'm using tonight is from Come Together Sweet, all right? And it's this stamp set right here. And with the box, you actually have a choice of greetings. We've got Season of Thanks and Gather Together. And both of these will fit in this, this frame, this window here. Hi, Amanda, welcome. All right, so that's where the first piece is. And then the mini pizza boxes that we're using tonight, and this is caught up on, oh, here it is. They are right here at the bottom of page 113. And when you order these, there are 8 pizza boxes in the package, all right? And what's really, really neat is we're also using the Toll Tidings Suite. Hi, Carol, welcome. Happy fall to you too. All right, so we're using the Toll Tidings Suite. And if you look right up here, and I will just move this a bit closer for you, you'll see the Tidings All-Around Stamp Set and the All-Around Wreath Dies. And ladies, this is the wreath that I used to create the fall wreath on the box. Hi, Terry, welcome. All right. And so here again is what the box looks like. This is the wreath, and the die is from this package right here. So one thing I love about Stampin' Up! Products is you can use their supplies for different occasions, different seasons. And so when I found this technique online, I thought, wow, it can be a Thanksgiving wreath, a Christmas wreath, Valentine's, spring, 4th of July, it could be just about anything. So I just love how our products just cross other seasons and holidays, okay? All right, so we'll get started now. I'm gonna move the catalog out of the way, and we're gonna zoom in just a little bit so that you can get a closer look at this box, okay? Now, it is a gold mini pizza box, and so the wreath was cut out of gold foil, one of our gold foil sheets, and you can find all of our foil sheets in the annual catalog. We have copper, gold, silver. I think we've got some other ones. Y'all help me out if you can remember. Now, I do have one slight problem with tonight's creation. I taught this class last night in Richmond, and that's about an hour and a half from my house, and I left my supplies in Richmond. And so my wreath die is in Richmond this evening. So it's a good hour and a half away from me, about 90 miles. And so I do have a copper wreath. So I want you to pretend that this is gold. We're going to use copper instead of the gold. But if you're creating this at home, use gold foil because you're using the gold foil mini pizza box. So you want it to all coordinate, and look at the gold here on the edge of that ribbon. Now, when someone wins this tonight, I'm gonna mail you the original, okay? So that you have the gold foil. But let's just pretend that this copper is really gold. And yes, the copper is very beautiful. And so you're going to take that die and you need to cut out one wreath in gold foil and one wreath in crumb cake. This is crumb cake cardstock, okay? And especially for the top wreath, you want to make sure that you pop out all of those little pieces, okay? You can see here on the copper one that I haven't popped them all out. And so I can take my pick-me-up tool and I can pop them out here. But I will tell you, even if I don't get all of this popped out, you're not going to notice this because this is the bottom layer. All right, so you won't even notice if it doesn't get all popped out. All right, so now I'm going to show you the baby wipe technique, and probably some of you have done this. I'll be really honest, I've been stamping about 13 years. I've been a demonstrator for 11, and I think this is only my second time doing this. And so I just thought it was a really cool technique. And I do want to thank fellow demonstrator Melody Hyde. She demonstrated this idea on a Facebook group that I am a part of, and I loved what she did. Hey Debbie, welcome. So I'm going to show you how she did that, okay? And I'm going to show you how to get your wreath as well, all right? You know, it's funny, I pulled in the Reynolds wrap and my lighting completely changed, okay? All right, so now ladies, these are my colors tonight. I'm gonna use 3 ink refill bottles. This one is Grapefruit Grove, all right? Now, every wreath is going to turn out different. It depends on the amount of saturated ink. It depends on where you place it. By the way, this is a baby wipe. We've already talked about that. And just to let you know, I have about 5 baby wipes here. All right, you probably could get away with 3 or 4. I just decided to do 5. The next color we're going to use is going to be Mint Macaron. I just thought these colors really screamed fall. I'm going to show you a card that I've also created using these colors, so don't let me forget about that. You'll want to remind me. And we're also going to use Gorgeous Grape. And I'm probably not going to use as much Gorgeous Grape because this can actually kind of overpower everything. All right, so if you were to create this at home, it would be totally different. In my class last night, it looked totally different. So every wreath is going to have its own personality. This is a Stamp and Mist bottle. And I have filled this with water, and that's it, okay? And what I'm going to do is I am going to spritz this so that these ink colors will move around, all right, and become saturated. And then I'm going to take the crumb cake wreath, and I'm going to have it facing down onto the baby wipe. And then I am just going to fold this up. And you can see I really don't need to fold this side, but I will since I have it here. And I'm just going to rub this. And then I'm going to open it up. And let's see how our wreath turned out. All right. We're just going to pick it up here. And let's see what happened. Oh, that's really pretty. And I think I'm gonna leave it just like this. I'm really happy with it. I'm gonna move those supplies out of the way, and now you can see the wreath a bit better because the Reynolds wrap is not there. All right? Now it's a bit damp, and so that's why we made this first. We're going to set this aside and we're going to let it dry, okay? And now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in our embossing. Now, if you're just joining me, let me just show you the box one more time. We've got the word Season of Thanks, and tonight I'm going to use Gather Together, okay? All right, so that's what the box looks like. You need a scrap piece of mint macaron and your embossing buddy. Now you're going to take your embossing buddy and just rub this so that when you do turn on the heat tool and have the heating process, you're not going to get little flecks of gold embossing everywhere, okay? Now I am going to use gold embossing powder, and I'm going to use the gold Delicata ink, which is in the holiday catalog. Hi Liz, welcome. So in the holiday catalog, we've got gold ink, silver, and copper, all right? So we're gonna use the gold tonight, and I did find, you can also use Versamark for heating, okay? But I found that using the gold, the silver, or the copper ink with the embossing folder, it's much shinier, it's much brighter, and it's more beautiful. So definitely if you have these inks, use these. I'm going to ink up my stamp, and this is Gather Together. That's what I'm using tonight. Get a lot of ink coverage there. And then I'm just gonna stamp right in the center of this scrap piece of paper. All right. And then I'm gonna open up my gold powder. So hopefully everyone has embossed here. If you haven't done any heat embossing, now you get to see it for the first time. All right, so basically I just covered up the words with the powder. I'm gonna move this out of the way. I'm going to put the top back on the ink because we're done with that. I am gonna use a clothespin, and I'm gonna turn on my heating tool, all right? And that's gonna take a few minutes to heat or heat set. And hopefully you'll be able to see this, and I'll try and get it a little bit closer up to the camera. I'm so glad everyone's liking the box tonight. Be sure to share and be sure to comment so that your name is in the drawing. All right? And ladies, I'm done. It was that quick. All right, so the key here is if you've got the gold ink, silver or copper ink, use those with the proper embossing powders. It's brighter, it's shinier, and it's prettier than using the Versamark and powder, all right? Okay, so now we're going to take a 2 1/4 inch punch. It's the circle punch, and we carry that in the annual catalog. And I am going to punch this right in I'm centering the words and I'm punching. Thanks, Sonia. Thank you so much. All right. And so now what we'll do is we'll set this aside as well, and we know that our wreath is drying. I'm just moving a few things out of the way. And now I'm going to bring in our gold mini pizza box. Hi, Carol. Thank you. Carol, have you ever done embossing before? I'm always anxious to know that, you know, if you all have ever done the heat embossing. I think it's so magical. It's the coolest thing. And when you're a beginner stamper, it's really cool. All right. And I probably should have folded all of these score lines before assembling the box. All right, now we're about ready to put our box together. All right, so there we have it. Hi, Margot, so nice to have you tonight. Hi, Suzanne. Thank you for the lovely Halloween card, Suzanne. It is out of this world. I absolutely love it. Thanks for thinking of us. All right, so the mini pizza box is together, and now I'm going to give you some measurements for the cardstock. This is Blackberry Bliss cardstock, and it measures 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches. So this is a square, And your second piece is mint macaron. And this measures 3¼ inches by 3¼ inches. All right. Oh, good, Carol. You're a longtime card maker and teacher of all kinds of cards. That's awesome, Carol. That is great. All right. So I don't know if you noticed, and thanks for sharing, ladies, I embossed this piece of mint macaron. Now you're going to notice in the box that you don't see it all too well, but it is there. And I just thought it looked really pretty for fall, all right? So I do want to show you how I embossed that. That's dry embossing with the Big Shot. I want to show you how I did that. I used the Big Shot platform. This particular embossing folder, the words are horizontal. And so you do need to be sure that you put your paper in correctly when you're embossing. And then this fold right here, I'm going to lay on the platform. And then I'm going to use the 3D embossing folder plate. And this is the item number, and it's $10. And you use it with our new 3D embossing folders, all right? So when you roll this through the Big Shot, it'll come out, and then you'll have that beautiful embossing on it, okay? So I did want to show you that. It's just a subtle little touch. Now we're ready to go ahead, and we're going to glue the Blackberry Bliss onto the top of the gold mini pizza box. And I'm going to use Tombow because that's going to give me some wiggle room for when I attach it to the box. And also, I know that it's going to stick really well. I don't have to worry about it peeling or coming up. If I were to use snail, that would probably end up coming off at some point. It's just not strong enough for these boxes. So as you can see here, this is where we're going to put this piece. And now we're going to add this piece here, and I will use snail for this one, okay? So I'm just going to put the snail on all 4 sides. And then I'm going to center this. All right. And, you know, I think I've told y'all before, I usually stand up and stamp. And so I'm sitting down tonight and stamping with you. So I feel like hopefully I'm not too crooked. I like to kind of stand right over what I'm centering. Okay. So now we're ready for the words that we've embossed, and we're actually going to pop it up. So we're going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals for this part. And ladies, if you have any questions as we go along, please let me know. Happy to answer those. Let me move my light over a little bit. I don't know if that will help. And I'm just going to center this. All right. So now the Gather Together is popped up. And do you remember our gold wreath? We're now ready to attach it to the Gather Together. Now, if you're just joining me, I don't have the die with me this evening that cuts out the wreath. It's from All-Around Wreath Dies in the very front of the holiday book. I only have copper with me tonight. If I were creating this box to give to someone, I would definitely use the gold foil sheets and not copper. But this is all I have for tonight, okay? And whoever wins the box tonight, you'll get the proper one. All right, so here's the key to this. You want to use Tombow glue, and you're just going to put the glue on the inner leaves. All right, and I haven't used this Tombow in a bit, so I think it's getting low. So I'm almost out of it, and it's hard to shake it down to the bottom. So as you can see, this was only the inner leaves. And now I am going to attach this. and just give that a few minutes to dry. So my wreath is popped up because it's popped up on this circle, and I've just used the inner leaves with Tombow glue for attaching, okay? So it's a great way to get your wreath popped up. All right, are you ready to see our fall wreath that we made? If you're just joining us, you'll have to go back and hit replay, and you'll see exactly how we created this wreath. We used the baby wipe technique. All right, so this one's dry too. And so I'm gonna flip this over. And again, I am going to just put Tombow on the inner leaves, okay? And you know what? I could actually put it on some outer leaves as well, because this is going to go on top of the other wreath. Now, when you put this one on top of the other wreath, you want to stagger it a little bit. You don't want to line up the two wreaths because then you won't see the foil. So you definitely need to just stagger the wreath. All right. And I'll show you what I mean by that. As you can see, I'm not trying to line up. And you'll see some of my Tombow glue there, and that is going to dry, okay? All right. And so that's how that's created. I'll go ahead and tie the bow for this, and then I actually have a card to show you with this same technique, all right? Okay, so if you're in one of my local hostess clubs, you will actually be doing this technique this week. You're going to learn all about it, and you'll get to create your very own wreath. All right, I'm going to make that bow a little bit smaller there. All right, I'm going to get my scissors out. And I am going to let this wreath dry a little bit more before adding the ribbon. So let me get a sip of water, and then I'm going to show you a card. All right. So as I get my sip of water, here's the card. I believe I had this on my Facebook page yesterday. Okay. So as you can see, in this card, and this is where the inspiration came from, the card. This is a Blackberry Bliss card base. And then we've got mint macaron. And the designer paper is from Come Together Sweet, okay? And that's in the holiday book. I know, Gail, I'm so sorry you'll miss this week. And then here we've got a copper wreath right underneath. And you can see we've used that baby wipe technique to add the crumb cake wreath. And then we've added some twine from, it's in the annual book, and it's a trio of twine. It's got the Blackberry Bliss, mint macaron, and crumb cake. It's 3 twines together, and it might be called Nature's Poem. I'm not sure. But yeah, so this is the outside of the card right here. And then we're going to stamp the inside. And this sentiment is from the August Paper Pumpkin. So if you're a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, you have this stamp, okay? And if you're not a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, you will want to subscribe by tomorrow, because we've got 2 Christmas kits coming out, and they are going to coordinate. So you won't want to miss Paper Pumpkin. Let me show you another wreath card. And with this one, I've used different inks. Thank you, Linda. Now this one is from Melody Hyde. She demonstrated this wreath, and she is a demonstrator. And I just love the way she did this. This is a crumb cake cardstock wreath. She has used, let me look at my notes. She's used Mango Melody. These are her ink colors, by the way. Mango Melody, Daffodil Delight, Terracotta Tile, and Old Olive. All right. So those are some awesome ink refill colors to use as well. All right. And on Friday, if you visit my blog, the supply list for this item will be available, and I'll probably include these ink refill colors too in case you want to change it up. All right. So Carol, we have Hostess Club this Saturday. I'll send you more details, but we're looking forward to having you on Saturday. All right, so now we're ready. We're going to add our bow, and I'm going to do that with a glue dot, all right? And I'm just putting it on the back of that knot, and then I'm just gonna add it right here. And now I'm going to trim the ends of the ribbon, all right? And I admit, it is beautiful, but I would have preferred that gold wreath back there. And unfortunately, I didn't have the die with me this evening. All right, does anyone have any questions? It's the baby white technique. If you missed the first part of the video, you'll be able to go back, hit replay, and watch it, okay? But here it is, and I am going to be mailing this to one lucky winner. So this is your chance right now. Leave a comment or share, or do both, and I'll be able to send that out tomorrow. Okay, right before